G'day, I'm Nick. Welcome to the second behind the scenes video for Sleeping with the Enemy. In this video we're going to talk about all things production design. The costume, location, a little bit on props, and a lot about our inspiration and what we wanted to achieve with this film.
So when we first started talking about doing a sequel to Boxhound, we knew we definitely wanted to set it in a completely new and different location to give the film a different look and feel to the first one. You know, the original Boxhound film was definitely inspired by Metal Gear 1 and 2, and you know, more of that sort of factory, warehouse kind of setting, so lots of greys, a lot of metal. With this one, we took more inspiration from Metal Gear 3, so, you know, trees, lots of greens, lots of browns, and just lush jungle sort of locations.
The obvious location that came to mind was Razvet, because it's kind of still forest and it's still structure. And I think that when you're making a film about Metal Gear, we want Snake to do a lot of corridor crouching and peeking around corners, and that stuff looks better in a structure rather than all forest and trees and stuff. Razvet was a good spot, and we found a really good match for it in the Allied Hills.
When you have such a great location, like the one we had for this particular Metal Gear film, you don't have to do much production design wise, and for a low budget filmmaking that makes your life so much easier. Everywhere you pointed the camera, it just looked fantastic, whether you were shooting through windows or shooting around corners. There was just so many options, and that's what was really good about it, is we were able to really maximize that location and make it look a lot bigger than I think it actually was.
How'd you go?
That was good. Nick had my back. That's what you want in a crew member. They have you back. Otherwise, I could have fallen in a ditch. Case in point, those holes over there.
So while we were at Konami, we actually, there was a statue of Naked Snake, and we were obviously missing Dan at the time, so Shanks and I, as you do, we got next to the statue and took some photos, and we kind of caught ourselves looking at it quite intimately and saying, geez, it looks a lot like Dan. So we knew we wanted to make another Boxhound at that point, so I think a lot of our inspiration came from that statue and that moment.
So this costume was a tad different to the Boxhound. We had a bit of help from Jack and the Task Force Taipan guys just to find out what type of camo we needed and, you know, where we can source these things from. We still had to make a lot of the costume ourselves, all the leather straps, the utility belts, all the little gadgets that Snake wears.
It's not a proper Fury Fingers costume if you don't have straps going through the crotch, because that's how we roll, isn't it?
There was certain shots that we got where he really just disappeared into the background. I can remember one in particular shot where he just drifted, he just disappeared into the sort of foliage that had grown against the wall and just looked really cool.
I grew out my hair for this role. It was a great couple of months trying to tailor that hairstyle to, you know, still go out to fashionable events and everything. We had a lot of fun trying to find the right hairstyle.
Yeah, like a beetle.
That doesn't look right at all. How much needed to come out of the headband, how much needed to be tucked in.
It's looking a bit punk at the moment.
We went through a few stages of it looking absolutely ridiculous
Don't laugh.
to eventually what we found looked good.
What does these look like again?
It's almost slick back, but then it's not, you know?
We didn't have enough time for me to grow a mullet. Thankfully, I didn't want a mullet. But this is our take on the character anyway, so we didn't have to make it exactly like the game, but we obviously wanted to get it as close as possible as well.
So we're trying to slick it back, because apparently he's got it slicked back. But we don't have a comb to do this with because my dog ate it. So
Actually,
That looks good.
oh shit!
I mean, you're never going to keep it exactly the same the whole shoot.
No.
Yeah.
Fighting and
So-
let's aim for this, and then it'll probably look more like that the rest of the day.
So to get our makeup right on set, it was Nick, the director, was doing my makeup at the beginning of each shoot day.
We used to have a brush, but we used it for another film on Shanks' feet, and we've cleaned it, but I still don't feel right about using it, so I chucked that away, and I actually prefer using my finger because you can get right in there and steer it properly. And
So this was a fun little process where he'd jab me in the eye with certain little bits of foundation or whatever it is that he was using, and it was all a bit of fun. By the end, we had it down to a pretty well-oiled machine where he'd do the stripes, I'd smudge them up, then I'd smudge a bit of dirt in there. And what we ended up with is what you see on the screen.
yeah, I prefer touching Dan's face over using a brush. Every time.
The few props we needed from this film, we sourced from op shops or found on the side of the road or wherever we could, basically, but they all matched the Russian 60s-ish era of the game. We'd like to give a thanks to our friend John Ho, who supplied us with a couple of guns for the film. He actually made the rocket launcher from scratch, and some of the cool sniper rifles and machine guns he's assembled from different bits of toy guns and using real scopes, real grips, painted them, and they really added some authenticity to the film.
Well, there you have it. Hope you enjoyed the latest behind the scenes look of our upcoming film, Sleeping with the Enemy. If you want to know more about production or just what's happening in the world of Fury Fingers, feel free to hit us up. You know, we're nice guys. We like to chat. So hit us up on all the usual social media pages and keep an eye out for us on the Konami pages. And as always, subscribe on YouTube. See you later.